A young couple's secret to owning 3 properties by 30. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heiser here, and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. Grab your stein of coffee, let's have a look at this article from news.com.au about a young couple who are sharing their secret about how they've bought their 3rd property by 30. And I bet you know what it is. Pretty much sacrifice. They're sacrificing, they're giving up some of the luxuries that other people have enjoyed. I bet you that's what it comes down to. Because that's what it always comes down to every time, at least to get your foot in the door. And then the magic property bubble that keeps growing, well, takes you for a ride. The tide lifts everyone. And, well, here in Australia, property is what our tide is. We love our property. Everyone's obsessed with property. 57% of the nation's wealth goes into property. So, let's have a look. The homeowners reveal how they bought their 3rd property by the age of 30. So if you're 30 and still trying to get the money together to buy one house, you're behind, guys. You should have had 3 by then. 3, according to news.com. Quick, get that FOMO going and rush out and buy now. That's the danger of these type of articles. They'll generate FOMO, fear. You'll think you'll miss out, and then you'll make an irrational decision, and you're stuck with it for the rest of your life. So you just need to take these for the face value that they are. They're, in some ways, a story of people who've made sacrifice to get ahead. And that could be encouraging. But don't let it fuel the FOMO, everyone. Don't let it allow you to make rash decisions. Property is going to be around for a long time. If they're built well. Some might not be, but avoid those. So set to buy their 3rd home in Melbourne, this Aussie couple is profiting from investing in property while earning an average salary. Now that's that's the dream. We've seen a lot of people who've wanted to build up their wealth in property. But you've got to understand, guys, as I said, a rising tide lifts all ships. Property's been heading up. This is the first recession we've had. Some property will take a hit. Starting to see it happen in Sydney in the apartments. Some won't. Some will have a level at it. And the government will just throw as much money as it will. So where property, the value or the monetary value of it may go up, the purchasing power of that same money may lose its capacity. You may have a, $500,000 house. It's still worth $500,000 in 5 years' time. But what can you get for that? You can't get less bread, maybe, for that $500,000. So, Courtney T. Ray and her partner Aaron bought their first home at 22 for 2012. For $210,000, not long after finishing high school. So they got in at 2012, guys. So there's still some room to grow. Look at that blue line there. That's Melbourne. Look at that growth from 2012. They then purchased their second home 5 years later for $610,000 at 27. So 5 years later, where did they head? The 2012, look at 2012 to 2017. So they would have had a lot of equity growth on that property. A lot of equity growth. Now in 2020, they're set to buy their 3rd Melbourne home around the $800,000 mark, and they're not even 30. Well, good luck to them. Hopefully they've built up enough equity, they've got enough savings that they can handle a correction, or they can handle their tenants not paying rent. The pair who met at high school have managed to invest in property on ordinary incomes. Courtney works as an account manager and has never earned more than $60,000, while Aaron is an electrician. Well, Sparkies earn good money. At least all the ones I know up here earn bloody good money. Some of my wealthiest mates are Sparkies. They didn't have any financial help from their parents either, but they did take advantage of living at home for as long as possible to save money faster. And there's the reason. They sacrificed on getting their own place, on having adventures. And it looks like, neither of them went to university. So there's less time. There's an opportunity cost going to study, guys. You spend years and years studying, and then you get out and get a job. That's years that you could potentially earn. That's years of potential property equity that you missed out on. So say if you went in and, 2012, straight after high school, you waited 4 years to get a degree in a postgrad. 2016, you tried to get in the property market. Look at that equity that you could have lost in Melbourne. That's the opportunity cost there that you have to consider as well. But, I mean, this is it. This is the sacrifice they made. They worked from home. So their parents did financially help them by giving them a home. And I mean, that's a good thing. That's what parents are meant to do. You're meant to provide a place for your kids. And it's probably good on them for doing it, for taking advantage of it. That's the secret. So, I mean, I've heard that a lot. I've heard other people have, moved home to really save up. The problem is that can put a lot of strain on relationships. It can be stressful too. Frankly, we're designing our house so that can happen. So if we have people coming back when they're married and want to have somewhere to stay, there'll be capacity for that. So we can put another kitchen and those type of things. That's why I suggest planning. Family planning should be planning for how you grow your family and how the generations will come and go and your role as a parent. That's how I see that. After working full-time for a few years, Courtney decided the 9-to-5 lifestyle wasn't for her and learned about property investing being a good way to earn a supplementary income. I first knew I wanted to buy property at the age of 19. So we started saving for a year and a half before buying our first house, she told Female, and I'm assuming that's the article that she was responding to. See, this is the thing. I love all these feminist articles that will put a woman up on a pedestal going, look at what she's all achieved. And of course, there's the husband there, the tradie, who would be earning a significant amount of the money and would have the borrowing capacity there. But that's never even mentioned. I find it funny. Like Lorna Jane is a perfect example. You never hear anything of her husband. And he's the real driving force behind that business. And he's why their project managers are so dodgy, but that's an entirely different story. So I guess, builders. Together, they saved almost $25,000, which was enough to put a deposit down on their first home in Melbourne, a 3-bedroom fixer-upper priced at $210,000. I mean, see, there you go, guys. Oh, TikTok crap. Oh, see, okay, now I I'm a bit pissed off at her. Okay, so they saved $25,000, which is great, and I mean, guys, is $25,000 enough to get a house in Melbourne now? Not a chance. Have wages gone up since then? Well, let's have a look. No, they haven't. So, work ethic. No, living at home with mum and dad is a big part of it. Work ethic. Oh, shit. TikTok is just horrific. I've even got a TikTok. I put 1 or 2 things up on it. I can't look at it. I don't know the point of it. I'm a boomer when it comes to TikTok. Guys, I'm a boomer. I will proudly accept that title. You can call me a boomer with TikTok. Let me know. So, it wasn't too nerve-wracking purchasing our first investment property. Having a job and working full-time until the age of 60 seemed scarier, she said. Okay. They're so young, they haven't seen the recession. What's wrong with working till you're 60? There's nothing wrong with that. How can you say you've got a work ethic and then you don't want to work till you're 60? Those two things don't equate there. There's a bit of a problem there. Oh, you mean your husband working till he's 60? Okay. The pair don't plan to live in any of the homes they bought. So where the hell are they living now? Are they renting or are they still living at home with their parents? Oh, that'd be brilliant if they could do that. Damn. Instead, they want to continue renting. Okay, they're renting. And eventually work less hours if the properties increase in value. The ultimate goal is to get our time back that we would normally spend working and generate a passive income, she said. Well, she's right. I mean, that should be the goal that you want. But we saw the example of that teacher. Remember that teacher? He'd bought 5 properties. He was paying interest only and hoping the capital growth would fund his retirement. And don't feel sorry for teachers, guys. In America, they're the most common millionaires. Unionized, government-controlled employment, guys. The ultimate goal is to get our time... Yep, we've already read that. Courtney, who shares her portfolio investing advice on TikTok videos, said the secret to saving enough for a deposit is not having any credit card debt, to spend less than you earn and invest the rest. I mean, okay, and not having any rental expenses, not having any food expenses, not having any internet expenses, not having rates expenses, not having water expenses. That's also, she forgot those secrets that she had to add there. And then buying just before the market shot up. to shut up. I mean, they're young. Good on them. Good on them. I hope they settle down. I hope they have some kids and a family, and they do well, because that's what you want to see. But, there's a bit more to the story than they're putting out here. Owning a home and having a mortgage, delayed opportunities to travel in their 20s, but she said they don't regret investing at a young age. Now, this is the thing. A whole lot of people want to get out there and travel and have these adventures. And I've spoken to other people going, that's the best thing they have. They would rather have done that than investing. Buying a home early. So there's the flip side, guys. There's the flip side. I know I've got no chance of going overseas for a long time until these kids grow up. It's not going to happen. But then we can't anyway. We can't anyway right now. I think for now, I think the next trip, I've been to Hong Kong and been to Europe. I think when I was younger, when I was a kid, I went overseas a lot. I think next I'd like to go over to NZ and maybe do like a camping trip or something. That'd probably be the next holiday I'd like. I'm getting all boring now. We like going, on a camping trip to Wuyong or something here in Queensland. With Courtney's dad being a tradie and Aaron being an electrician, they renovated the house to give it an entirely new look that would appeal to renters and tenants. So her dad and her husband did all the work renovating. I'm sure she did a lot too. I'm sure she did a lot. Because my partner's an electrician and my dad's a tradie, I've grown up knowing the excitement of what it's like adding value to a property through renovations, she said. They decided to buy old homes in established areas, which are likely to increase in value over time. They were turned off buying a house and land package because there's often no data or records to look at. That's smart. That's smart. There's less risk with regard. Well, you know what you're buying. I mean, and look what they did. They did a nice little kitchen renovation. I mean, this here kitchen, this is fine. Honestly, this is fine. It's just an older kitchen. I wouldn't mind that. This is probably better than what we have in our kitchen now, to be honest. We plan to eventually tear out our whole kitchen. But there you go. You can see how they add value to it. I mean, look at the staging there. Whoever has bottles of water like that. I mean, come on. Sitting there like that. Your cookbooks there. What be? Anyway, I know that's what it's for. I know that's how it's done. We were really focused on buying old homes close to the Melbourne CBD that had a proven track record of growth. When they were looking to purchase their second home, Courtney said the prices in Melbourne had approximately doubled, so it took them longer to get the deposit together. In 2012 and 2013, the property market was pretty flat, so we were lucky with the house and rate we got. But in 2017, the market skyrocketed, she said. Well, here's the thing. Melbourne's going to take a hit. Melbourne and Sydney are definitely going to take a hit coming out of all of this. We're seeing it happen. I don't know if it'll be as pronounced in other areas because we haven't had the growth. You've got to think about it. The international tourism is down the toilet, so a lot of Airbnb properties are flooding. International students are down the toilet, so the demand for those properties are reduced as well. And you've got a potential exodus of people wanting to leave Victoria, or at least go out of the cities into the country. So her CBD properties may not be as valuable as they were in the past. So there's some considerations. So Courtney said it was really hard to get into the market again, and it took 5 years to save the next deposit. But their perseverance paid off when they managed to buy their second 3-bedroom home for $630,000 with a $60,000 deposit. I mean, there you go, and they did them up. I mean, getting rid of these arches is a good idea as well. I like the vinyl plank flooring. We put that down in my mother's little townhouse. We had it in our office in Yeronga too, and we took it out with us. We've got it now in the back shed. We'll probably use it in the extension. Courtney suggests seeing professional advice from a mortgage consultant or broker, and to make sure you're not overstretching yourself financially. It's an advantage having a partner who you can purchase the property with. But even if you're single and renting, you shouldn't be discouraged to consider buying a property for the right reasons, she said. It's a lot easier. How would you know? How would you know? You've never been. You've this guy you know from high school. I mean, make sure you save enough before you buy and have an emergency fund just in case you need to pay any other costs, such as ownership fees. Courtney hopes her decision to invest in property with her partner will inspire other young people to do the same. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry, Courtney. Their people are they're obsessed with property here in Australia. So property buying incentives. Australia's descent into an economic recession has sparked a property buying spree from investors eager to get a bargain. Well, no, it hasn't. We've seen that investors are pulling back. Most of the mortgage loans are now going to first home buyers. First home buyers are taking charge of the market because incentives are being thrown at them left, right, and centre. And a lot of it is for new builds. Property price data from the ABS shows residential house prices for the June quarter went back 1.8% compared to the prior quarter, with Melbourne and Sydney housing markets seeing the largest falls. The Melbourne property market experienced slightly larger drops for the quarter. Residential property fell 2.3%, driven by a 2.8% decline in house prices and 1% fall in attached dwellings. With the first home buyer scheme offering first home buyers the chance to own a home with as little as 5% deposit, that's a scary prospect. And frankly, it's more scary for the precedent it sets with the government getting comfortable guaranteeing things associated with housing. That's what scares me more than anything. Experts recommend to save at least 10% deposit or more. Sophie Walsh, personal finance specialist at Finder, previously told news.com.au that while the scheme will help Australians get back into the market, borrowing 95% of your home is not something to be taken lightly. I mean, yeah, you could easily end up in negative equity. Negative equity. But, I mean, if you keep making the repayments in your employment, I don't think the bankers are going to care, to be honest. I think they'll turn a blind eye just that you keep running at it rather than foreclose, because there's costs associated with all of that they'll avoid. But the stress, I mean, 800 grand with a place with milk cartons and fake turf. I'd rather the concrete. Oh, the concrete's under there. Keep in mind, the more you borrow, the more you have to pay back. Well, that's rocket science here. The market will likely see a dip in the next 12 months, and it could be a really good time to get into the market and a good opportunity if you can afford to do so, but keep in mind what the risks are, she said. Even more ideal is to save a 20% deposit or higher in order to avoid paying the lender's mortgage insurance. If you're thinking about buying a property that needs renovation, it's important to factor in the costs of the work on top of the mortgage repayments. So there we have it, everyone. The secrets of a young couple on how to get to the property market. Guys, just work hard. Spend less than you earn. Have a partner that's an electrician and a dad that's a tradie, and buy fixer-upper properties while living at home to get your first deposit right before a boom. I mean, I wish them the best of luck. I hope they don't get stung too much if the market takes a turn in Melbourne. But I mean, they're still young. They could ride it out. If they could meet their repayments, if they've still got some rent coming in, they could ride it out and wouldn't worry about it. They're young. The problem is people a little bit older that try and replicate the same thing that don't have the time. Isn't that the trick? You want to risk going broke before you're 30 because you still have time to rebuild yourself up again. What do you think, guys? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Do you think these are special tricks or tips? Would you be jumping at them? As always, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or KuCoin. You can buy merch from Heisa Says, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.